just do that. Do that for me again. Hold the microphone close and just read that out for me again.
What, the professional microphone?
Oh, I want you in super podcaster voice. Go on. You got to do it. Do you know why you've got to do it? Because I'm recording and this is going to be our intro. You got to do it, mate. The internet expects it.
Professional microphone. Your number one microphone for all your podcasting needs. Or, if I'm becoming the true assassin, nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
Love it. Perfect. That is our intro.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed, your number one podcast for all things Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special episode. In the last few weeks, I've gotten into the habit of giving the episode number and name and a little bit about what the topic's going to be, but this episode doesn't have a number. Why is that, Declan?
So, I've proclaimed for years I am this smart podcaster who knows what he's doing, and I actually don't. So, when James came on board and he was like, I can help YouTube, it was like angel music, choir. I finally got a project to help me. It was magic. And then, James, you found an error, didn't you? Oh, thank you, James.
I did. So I was downloading all of the audio tracks, or the final audio that you listen to when you listen to us as a podcast, are stored on a service called Anchor, which is part of Spotify. And I was downloading episodes in batches, and I was turning them into video podcasts. Vodcasts? I don't know if there's a name for that. Anyway, video podcasts for our YouTube channel. So all of our back catalogue is available on YouTube, and we put it all. We've been uploading it until we'd caught up over the last month or so. And yeah, Declan had told me, yeah, I've done about 96 episodes. Okay, fine. And then when I realised I was getting to about episode 98 or whatever it was, that there was a numbering problem. We were out of sync, and then I was panicking that I'd missed something, and I'd have to go back and renumber and rename every single YouTube video that I'd uploaded. Where did the gremlin creep in?
So the gremlin creeped in because I got lazy. I will open my hands up, I got lazy. When I opened this Discord server, I had a goal of making sure that every week I would put an episode link onto Discord. Every week it's there, you can see it perfectly. But I had to put over 80 links onto Discord in one day, and I stupidly didn't count the introduction as a podcast episode. But it is. So technically, what you see on Spotify and YouTube is true. It is correct. Introduction is the very first episode, but I got lazy and I forgot to add it. So we were already 1 out of sync. The second issue came a year later, where it was getting around Christmas time. I was very busy. I accidentally forgot to upload a link to Discord. And because I forgot to upload a link in a week and I didn't notice it till a year later, as James pointed out, that now means that I am 2 episodes on Discord only out of sync with the official podcast. So the podcast on Discord is 2 weeks behind because I got lazy with the introduction, because I kind of thought if you come to Discord, you don't want to listen to introduction, you can just chat to me.
Yeah.
So you may want to jump in, but that was a bad move because introduction is actually what everyone's listening to. It's got about 800, 900 listens now because it's the first thing you listen. So I can't go back and add it. That's the whole problem, because then I'll have to go through all 105 and renumber all of them. That's going to take me forever. So James is right. We are on 102. This was meant to be episode 100 special.
This was, yes, that's what we should say. Isn't it? We did plan for our 100th episode. We'd do something a bit special, and yeah, then the numbering. It doesn't matter. I suppose the key point is, if you listen to us on audio or on YouTube, you've not missed anything. Every episode is there. Every episode is correctly numbered. You have everything that you want to listen to.
If you come to Discord and you get confused, tag me and I will help you.
Indeed.
I'm not very... I've been running Discord servers for about 3 years and I still do not know what I'm doing.
So what are we going to do for our special episode, which is our 100th but not 100th episode?
Well, I think I want to show you how I edit episodes. It's a behind the scenes feature. I also want to have a chat about what we're doing as a show, as two hosts, and answer some questions. But I also, and I've put it down somewhere, and I now can't find it, want to show something that's kind of amazing. And yes, I have lost it. So when I find it,
I'll keep everyone entertained with some witty anecdotes. Yeah, geez, I wish I'd planned some witty anecdotes now. I'll tell you what
all
would
right,
be
I was.
interesting is Declan does all of the audio editing, adjustment. So we record, we use a online piece of software called Zencaster, which then generates the audio tracks, one per attendee. Sometimes in the past it was just Declan, now it's two of us, so you see two audio tracks here. If we have guests, there's an audio track for each extra guest. But I've never actually seen any of this side of the creation of the show. Declan gives me the finished audio, all tweaked, and then I do a very, very basic video creation and put it on YouTube. But most of the hard work of making the audio good and making the conversation flow correctly, so we're not talking over each other, that all comes with what we're going to see on the screen here. So I'm interested to see this too.
Well, I found what I was looking for.
Oh, perfect. So I've kept us
Perfect.
going for a minute there with some rubbish. Good.
So the reason why I want to show it now in the 100 special is because I was going to show it on Twitter next week, but I realised you can't take a picture of your phone with your phone. It's impossible. And so
Okay.
I wanted to show that this is my phone, this little phone. And why it's important is this is where it began. 2019, it began on this phone with this headset. That was it. That was just me plugged in on the sofa, chatting away about Assassin's Creed for 15 minutes. And now, magic. We are actually editing, and this is what I want to transition to from phone zero editing to the magic of this.
So
It took me a.
your early episodes, you just did one take, talk into the phone, no pauses, no editing, and then upload.
Yeah, I did that for about a year.
It's amazing.
And a lot of the episodes we do now are technically one takes.
True.
Kind of magic how we do that.
We don't tend to edit out the mistakes, do we?
No, I kind of. It kind of become like what's the word? A hook for the show. You know, when I couldn't edit and there was like a mistake, maybe like a cat was on the mic or something, you can't get it out, so you had to run with it. And then when you get to editing, you start to realize, spent a year with like random noises or tangents cropping up. What's the point of removing them now? Like just because you can remove them doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as long as they're fun, because I tried for ages to get rid of the cat meow from mine and Nerdy Archer's podcast once, because I thought I'll make it clean, and I couldn't. It's really difficult, and I'll show you why in a second. And I just thought, you know what? That cat's being a guest.
Absolutely.
The cat's staying in the
Aslan
episode.
is an honorary member of the show. That's what Aslan is. Nerdy Archer's cat, who is very famous.
And it's now a member.
Absolutely.
So the reason why I can't edit them out is, as you see me zooming in, this is the audio file. Mine's usually quite low because my mic's being silly, but it's really difficult to point out where a certain noise is. And even if you get a noise, and I'll make a mistake first, so let's say this noise here was a bang. If I was just to highlight and delete, the track's already out of sync by them few seconds. So you kind of realize after a while it's difficult to sync everyone. So how do I make the show sound cool? Well, James, what is the first thing I do before we start kicking off the show?
So we will get the two of us and any guests into our Zencaster session. We usually have a few minutes of chit chat just to get warmed up, and then Declan hits record. And when he hits record, we say nothing. All of us that are on the call, we go quiet, and that's so that you can.
I like background data, which sounds boring, but right here is zoomed in is what's classed as background noise.
Yeah.
It's just my fan. Anything can happen, and all I have to do is go down to noise reduction, get the noise profile, then highlight every track again.
I'm not seeing your menus, interestingly.
Ooh,
I wonder why that
menus.
is.
Maybe they're hidden.
It's
Oh,
not
this
coming
is
up. It's not coming up on the Discord call. So we'll have to do some live troubleshooting.
live troubleshooting. Can we
Are
troubleshoot?
you sharing just the Audacity application, or are you sharing your whole screen?
I thought I was sharing the whole screen.
Because I'm not seeing,
Share.
for example, your Windows taskbar. So I wonder if you share the whole
Change.
screen, will we be able to see the menus?
Um. Oh, that's the problem. How about now?
Now we can see stuff. Good, good. Carry on, carry on.
So
What
what
was that
happened
then?
is I I didn't click on share screens. I clicked on share application.
Gotcha, gotcha. No worries,
Oh,
no worries.
I'm not good at technology, people. So as you can see, I forgot I pressed the wrong button. So now that I've got the noise profile, which is this snazzy button, and now my battery decides to die. It was like on 100% 10 minutes ago.
Are you running this off battery while we're recording?
Yeah, I know.
No. Oh my
I
word.
know.
Go and get your charger.
It's all
Because
right. It's right here, people.
you know what we're like. We're going to talk for ages.
So, okay, before I run and discharge, didn't put this on charge, which is charger broke, people. Panic. We'll keep this in. So, before I go run off, now we've got the noise profile and we've got the background. I click OK, and what this little application will do is it'll scan the whole track, and I'm not going to do it all because I'm not sitting here for a minute
Mm,
trying to
mm.
get everything, but it will scan everything, and in that 5 seconds that I've chosen, it will pick up every noise and apply it to the whole podcast. So then 5 seconds of noise is deleted out the whole podcast, which is fantastic to be honest, and it helps quite a lot with the show. So if my fans being extra annoying, oh, you're amazing. My girlfriend just plugged it in.
Perfect.
And then now the charger pops out. So this is quite an entertaining behind the scenes. To be fair, this is my life. Zach. Sorry, people. It works. We're fixed. Thank you.
All right, we're on the
Ready?
mains. Happy days. We're not going to lose. Are we on the
Is it
mains?
is it turned on?
Nuh-uh.
So yes, it's working
Please,
slowly.
please tell me
People,
you haven't had a power cut. All right, otherwise your internet would be off.
no, I forgot to press the button on.
There
There,
it
it's
is.
charging.
We've got
Oh,
power. Good.
oh. So there we go. It's got rid of all the background noise,
Okay. Yeah.
and a trick I only learned 2 months ago is I could do this. I
Ah,
could highlight both. I was highlighting single bar.
gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
once I did that, I would just delete, bye bye, and zoom back out.
Nice.
And now the audio is pretty much crystal clear. But
Tell me about. So the software is Audacity, free of charge software for
um,
audio editing.
yeah, it was completely free. There's tons of YouTube videos to watch. I would highly
Mm.
recommend it. And
Mm.
this video took me 20 minutes to realize, and everything I'm doing can take up to 20 minutes a day to do if done right. And it's really quite simple.
Yeah.
Once you've got the noise, this is a filter curve.
This
Please,
is what I'm interested in. So this is what you do to make us sound nicer.
yes, but can please nobody in the comments ask me what I'm doing because I don't know what a filter curve is. I'm being
Understood.
honest.
Okay.
So the first one I go for is bass boost.
Okay.
Boosts everything up. Now, depending on who I'm streaming with on different mics, because it depends on settings, sometimes when I do the next boost, things get a
Mm.
bit skew width.
So
So
are
you
you
go,
listening back after each change that you make?
um, sometimes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So the next big change is just treble boost. That's just a bass and a treble boost only.
Okay.
This is where things can go wrong. And when things go wrong, easy to fix, but annoying to fix. So
Mm. Mm.
luckily in this instance it didn't, but you see this little bit spiked up there.
Yeah.
Sometimes people's tracks spin on the mic, for example, this one would spike huge.
Yeah.
And if you do get a huge spike, you go down to lost it, normalize. And all normalize really does, it just changes the peaks to a certain decibel range.
Ah,
So
gotcha.
if there is a huge spike, instead of just manually amplifying everything to fit in, you will reduce the spike completely. So it helps equalize everything through the treble and the bass.
Understood.
Um, and
Understood.
literally,
So right now, I don't know if my microphone is picking this up, but right now my dog is in the garden barking like crazy. Let's hope that's not being picked up by the mic.
I can't hear anything.
Perfect. Perfect.
So the last step, and I'm not going to do because we'll be here forever because this is what takes the longest. Once that's done, all I'm left to do is amplification.
Mm-hmm.
And that is basically amplifying each individual track to get an equalization, which
Ah.
what people aren't seeing because of the waveform. These waveforms are deceiving. For example, this is Return of Stealth with AC Landmarks from
Mm.
Twitter.
Mm.
And you would assume that with big spikes like this, his volume's going to be huge and deafening.
Yeah.
Actually, he's quite quiet. So even though mine looks small and quiet, mine in this section is louder than Arsh's, which is
Interesting.
quite deceiving. So you have to do the amplification on a track by track basis, um, which is kind of like takes 10 minutes. So let's
Mm.
pretend we've done that.
Mm.
Um, that's everything done. That is the show done. All I need to do is go to import audio, and this is where you get to see my magic folder system. Podcast episode, introduction, the intro. You got to zoom in again,
Ah, here it is. Okay, gotcha.
and you got to play my favorite game, Snap. Snap.
Ah, nice. Nice.
Mm, snap. And they're done. And then I just amplify this track separately,
Mm-hmm.
no other changes, to
Mm-hmm.
match my volume. Now, I understand that I could amplify this already and have a pre-amplified um, intro, so I don't have to keep moving it. But I have found that sometimes, due to Zencaster, microphone position, or guests, it's impossible to have the intro as one set volume because sometimes a guest's microphone may be hard to pick up sound. So if you make it too low, then their voice gets distorted. So you have to make your amplification a bit higher, if that makes sense.
Yeah, gotcha. Gotcha.
So it's always a play by ear basis for that. But once it's done, it's just a simple export as MP3 and it merges it together, and you've got a nice, snazzy
Nice.
episode.
So this was how long was this episode when it was recorded?
This was a 29-minute episode.
And how long would it take then to export that MP3?
For this one, if I was to save it as that, export as one stereo file,
Mm.
I don't bother with that. I'm too lazy. This one would take 2 minutes. Well,
Oh, as
no,
fast.
24 seconds.
Wow, fast as that. Okay, that's fair enough.
And
That's good. Yeah.
that is with just a 29-minute track with two audios.
Mm.
Now, our
Mm.
tracks are an hour long with three audio tracks.
Ooh, we've had. I mean, so we're recording this on the 23rd of October, and yeah, we've just come off the back of three-part Unity special, where we've had three guests. So yeah, we have talked a lot, and it's been great. But yes, the longer you talk, the more difficult for you it is when you come to do the audio checking and all the rest of it.
Which I don't mind, like that's part of the fun, just editing and
Mm,
having some fun.
mm,
I enjoy the challenge of each episode being different and being
yeah,
recorded. Um, I prefer editing the ones with guests and with you because I love to hear our conversations back and forward. I kind of hate doing the ones where I'm just on my own.
yeah,
I tend to
absolutely.
not listen to them. I'm just
The
like,
thing
quick.
that I've found most awkward since I've joined the show is, I mean, it's probably everyone says it, listening back to yourself. listening to your own voice,
Yeah.
because Declan will send me the audio usually Friday, maybe Thursday, depends kind of what personal schedules are like. And then I will do the video creation. But I will always, Declan was always ask me, again, time permitting, to have a listen back, just to make sure that the audio levels sound good. And we had a little problem, didn't we, with our Arno Dorian episode, where somehow the tracks were ever so slightly out of step. So it sounded like I kept talking over our guest Serverland, but you were able just to tweak it, and it was probably half a second, 1 second maybe. But you were able to tweak it so we properly didn't step over each other, and the conversation was much easier to explain. But yeah, listening back to yourself, it's not getting any easier. Let's put it like that.
I think how I managed to solve that one is, how I snapped everything together then to match in line. I just kind of made sure that none of us was snapped together. We're like in steps, so we're all, I think it was 0.5 seconds out of sync of everyone.
Gotcha.
It took me ages to zoom in, but the hardest part is not hearing myself back, is hearing like, "Hi, I'm Declan," then change the filter curve and it's like, "Hi, I'm Declan." It's like, oh. Especially how you can go from like, I don't know, a normal human being to "I'm Batman" in 10 seconds.
Excellent.
It's awful. I hate it. Especially when I compressed my voice once and it made me sound like I was like some really big Merly cartoon weightlifter, like, "Hi,
Brilliant.
I do 10 a day."
Brilliant. Shall
So,
I show the video creation side, which is very, very simple? Would that
oh,
be
should we
useful?
see it?
All right.
Yeah, that's
Okay. All right. So what I said a minute ago was that I was going to do a very brief kind of show of how we do the video creation. So Declan's shown how he does the audio edit, tweaks the levels, adds the intro music, and as I said a moment ago, when he's done that, he gives me the finished MP3 file. What happens next? Let me show you very briefly how we create the video versions of our audio podcasts for YouTube. I use DaVinci Resolve for all of my video editing. I do record a lot of my gameplay and I upload it really for my own benefit. But I also do all the video creation for the podcast. So what I'm going to do is, you'll see here all of the previous projects for all of the episodes that we've had. Today, actually just 2 hours ago, I did the video creation for episode 102, which was published as an audio episode this evening, and it'll become available on YouTube tomorrow. I'm actually going to do that creation again because I think I've still got the audio file downloaded. So I'm just going to create a new project, and we'll just call it very imaginatively episode 102B.
That's a very imaginative episode title.
What can I say? Yeah. All right. So if I go to, let's talk Assassin's Creed, source audio. So here's the source audio that Declan provided to me earlier. Now the way that DaVinci works, keeping it very, very simple, is you work from left to right on these panels at the bottom. Now for what we're doing, which is just the simplest of edits, you really only need 3 panels: media, to get the media imported into DaVinci so you can work with it; edit, if you need to make any cuts, which we don't, to be honest, because again this is very, very simple; and then deliver, which does the final render of the video file that you then upload to YouTube. So I need to put the resources that I'm working with into the media pool. So I need the source audio that Declan's provided. We have a little kind of rotating animated video background. Actually, how did you create that, Declan?
I don't actually remember. It was a website that I was on. I think it was like I think it was Canva.
Oh, did you? Okay, fair enough. So you'll see
think
here,
I did
it's just
from
playing in
Canva.
this preview pane here. It's just little animations, just so there's some movement on the screen. But yeah, we use this as our video background. Okay, so it was Canva. All right, that's good. So let's add that into the media pool.
Canva 10-second clip. I think I made it because nobody wants to sit a still background, and I thought, nice little flashy background. People like.
It's very good, very good. All right, so to create the video, you see we've got our 2 resources here in the media pool for this project. We've got the audio track and the video background. Right click the audio track, new timeline, just accept all the defaults. We don't need anything complicated there. Here's your timeline at the bottom of the screen here, and it automatically scales to show the full kind of length of the project. And then to get the video background, this is honestly the simplest thing ever. It's so simple, it's almost laughable. You drag the video down to the timeline, and you see here that it shows you immediately the length of that video, and I can just press a key on the keyboard to start playing the audio and seeing the animated video. To get the video across the entire length of the podcast, I just drag and drop as many copies as is needed to get the to sort of cover the full length of the audio. Now where you've got one that sails over the end, let's hide the media pool. Again, like you showed with your snapping of the different audio tracks, you can do the same here with DaVinci. So I can just do a trim there, it snaps to the end of the audio, and we're done. Now I remember when I was working through the backlog of all of the historical episodes, which was a project I think I started in August and for September. Yeah, September, and finished it maybe early October. The intro music that you have now, for a while you had very different intro music for 2 or 3 episodes. It was almost like dance music or something. And for whatever reason, that few seconds of dance music was much louder than the rest of the audio track. So I was able just to do a small trim here, or cut, and then just reduce the volume level of that, just that intro section, so it then balanced out with the rest of the audio. But all the new episodes, like I say, Declan's done all the hard work of sort of getting the audio right. I don't need to do anything. So all I do once this is prepared in the timeline, I play it, I listen to the start, I listen to the end to make sure it's fine, which it is, because it always is. And then I click deliver, and I just use the defaults here. So it's rendered as a YouTube video, HD, 24 frames a second. You might say that's crazy, that's really low quality, low frame rate, but it doesn't matter, because it's really about the audio, not about the video. Once the video's done, I mean, an episode like this, what's this, an hour? How long would that take? Because it's not being rendered at very high quality, probably about 15 minutes to render the video.
That's on your computer though. On my little thing, it probably take a day.
Well, it's you know, my PC's getting old. I think Christmas is coming anyway for another day. So yeah, that's a quick look at the video side of it. As I say, very simple prep, media, edit, deliver, and then upload and publish to YouTube.
And I think this just shows how far the show's come along. Because, as you mentioned with the dance music, the intro, because I couldn't edit, I was just using stock. It was just whatever was there, and can't change stock. Whereas now, with thanks to help with Visions of the Past, who told me about Audacity and Anchor, I was able to then find the music I use now, which is copyright-free, royalty-free music. I just have to say who the music's by, and it's made things 10 times easier. Just to have it in there and have the right volume, I think it gives you, the listeners, a great clarity and more linear listening to it instead of just like really loud roar. Hello, people. It's like going to a heavy metal concert with like really heavy drum and bass, and then the guy just starts singing really angelic. It doesn't make sense.
Just a quick picture for the old social media. So say hello, internet, because you're about to be on Twitter and be famous.
Oh no, don't put us on Twitter. It's terrifying.
What were we doing? Yeah, so for this special episode, as well as just chatting a little bit about the behind the scenes, and as we discussed, you know, doing epic face reveals, we had some questions.
Yes, I was gonna pull up my phone for the questions, but it's fine. I will zoom over to the podcast Discord channel. So, first question. I mean, sorry, I'm so used to doing it audio on video, it's making me nervous.
Should we close the Audacity and just have us full screen, so to speak, our cameras, like super professional? Which is one thing we are not.
Do I stop streaming? Is this what it does?
Yeah.
Okay, if this breaks things, we blamed James.
Absolutely. All right. Close.
Does that work?
There we go. Just the two of us. Perfect.
Oh, hello world. So the first question, is technically not the first question on the list, but I want to address it first, is from iCrake. Brilliant person. I've had him on board a few times and I
Mm.
really love his chats. And he asked, will we be able to chat again? And the answer is always. You know, for year three, and I'm going to let it slip now instead of waiting, I want to double down on community interactions. I think let's make Assassin's Creed not just an Assassin's Creed podcast that you listen to, but a community podcast. You know, one of the joys I've had making the show is having fans from the community like James helping me. You know, he's not just some random man fan on Facebook. He's a fan who's just come and joined. That's so it just shows that this show is being created by a community member. I've had tons of community guests giving me ideas. We have guests who come on and actually do the talks instead of just email me. And I know it's a long-winded answer, but sadly, I Creek, we've had months worth of episodes pre-planned in a secret document we are not going to reveal. Even though I wanted to reveal at one point, I was like, no, the fountain of knowledge must stay closed. It's a secret. So
We're definitely going to have him back on. That's what we can say
definitely,
for certain. For certain.
for certain, when January hits, our calendar is open and we are dragging as many people that we've missed back on the show.
You
My
know what I'm
rule
do
is,
you know do you know what I'm thinking? I've just thinking of something he said recently. I think he tweeted it today or yesterday. I think we should get iCrake back on for an Odyssey special because I know how much he loves Odyssey. Sorry,
yes.
I couldn't help it, mate.
Well, my rule of the show is if you've been on once, you have to come on more times.
Absolutely.
You don't get off of it. You can't just do one and then run away. You have to come back. So, some other questions. Are you excited?
I'm looking forward to it. I know you've got a list, and I did see some of the replies, so I'm hoping they're going to be easy questions. Let's see.
Let's see. So, now, this one's from our good friend Andy Reloads.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not too sure if this was a typo or he actually meant how he worded it. So I think we should answer it both ways.
Okay.
But he asked, what are you both looking forward to most in 2021, podcast wise and everything else in between? Now, I am thinking he meant 2022
Must
because
have.
2021's
Must have.
nearly
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
So, do you want
Podcast
to go
wise.
first?
Podcast wise, we've got some really. Should we talk? Well, you've already kind of mentioned this. So one of the ideas we have a planning spreadsheet, and we're always both of us throwing ideas in there. And one of the ideas I've put in there, and I think you and I both had the idea separately, and I can't remember who wrote. We message each other all the time on Discord, and I can't remember who said it, but one of us said, "Let's do like regular community contributor or community creator spotlight episodes." The idea being that we would talk to artists and cosplayers and writers and anyone else who creates content linked to the franchise. The idea being that we might do, I don't know, one every 4 weeks, one every 6 weeks, something like that, because we think that's just, first of all, we just really like talking to people, and it's really interesting to get people's sort of backgrounds on their stories and so on, and how they got into the franchise, what have they enjoyed, what was it that inspired them to create or to write or to whatever they did. So what I'm really looking forward to for 2022 is actually that series of episodes. We're not expecting a game to be released next year, so we're going to have to find some. I'm not sure how much longer we can talk about Valhalla for. I think you've done maybe 10 or 15 episodes, previews, release reviews, and then DLC reviews. So at some point we shall run out of things to talk about with Valhalla. Of course, we're going to do some book reviews and other kind of look backs on different topics, but yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting more people in the community and just having really nice conversations with them about their journeys in the franchise and what they create and how they create. So that's what I'm looking forward to for next year.
I think I'm with you. I'm really excited to get more of the community spotlights. I'm really new to the world of art and cosplay, so meeting cosplayers through the show is going to be a delight. I'm really excited because I've seen cosplayers through TikTok from my partner, and they're stunning. I will admit the level of detail they can go through blows
Mm.
my mind. Um, I think one of the biggest things I'm excited for 2022 is I've got a lot of ideas cooking up for more theory-based podcasts because I feel like theory-based shows give you a little bit more freedom to have a bit of a brainstorm, have some fun, and one of the series I want to build over next year in a similar three part is all to do with the Yggdrasil device. And
Yes.
because I just can't get out of my head that everything's a simulation. So I know what ifs I've done before, so I'm not going to do any what if series because they've already been covered. But I'm going to want to discuss like what other simulations could be hidden there. Could there be a simulation where humans were never created, and how dramatic that would be for the franchise? Look at simulation where what we're doing now in the human world outside of video games is actually just a simulation as well. Very meta, what if we playing a game based on a fake idea is actually us in that game?
We're sort of going
People are
to
going to,
Matrix level of, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
people are going to be
gotcha,
so confused. They're like,
gotcha.
what's he going on about? What's this rabbit hole we found? But I think it's the next DLC for Valhalla. It's the biggest mystery for me that I am so excited to discuss because personally, Assassin's Creed shouldn't do 2 years with DLC. It, 1 year is good enough. I'm struggling to get back into it. Now there's Discovery Tour, I've got a lot more to do, but
Mm,
once you've done
yeah.
everything, there's no real urgency to go clear the map. I got bored after 20 minutes of trying to find some fish. I was like, nah, I've got better quests to
I
do.
still haven't got the swordfish trophy. I got the I've done all the like the offerings, and there is an achievement you get. I think is it for fishing one of each type of fish or whatever. So I've done that one, but I haven't got the swordfish. I just haven't got the patience.
Oh, I found the Harry Potter books for fish, fish and where to find them, and I was
Yes,
looking,
yes.
and my TV is it's above me, about that big and that tall. So I'm now like my glasses on, examining the books, just locations. I give in. I'm off. I'm not finding fish. I'll go hunt a boar, or I've found a legendary animal in Ireland last night and started punching it with my fists. And I thought, hey,
Nice, nice.
let's see if Eivor can beat a wild boar without any weapons. See, it
Did
could be
she?
fun. No, did she?
Oh,
No,
okay, right.
no,
That was
no,
disappointing. I thought you were going to give
no.
us an epic answer there.
The epic answer was
No.
my batteries died and Eivor went flying across the map. So the
Oh
answer was no.
no, no,
No, no, no,
shame.
no. So yes, we got a lot to be excited about
Hmm.
next year. And I think
Hmm.
22 is going to be a wild year. It's the third year of the show, which is so confusing because I sat there. This show won't last a year. No one's going to be interested in a crazy old man talking about Assassin's Creed, but hey, it's all like my rambling.
Someone's listening,
Someone's
and
listening.
and
It's all like my
our
rambling.
recent episodes have been really popular. Which has been really nice to see. So yeah, someone's listening.
There was, I forgot his name, but I haven't seen him for a while. But he used to email me every so often through the show, discussing ideas and asking how I am. He was a really lovely person. But I haven't had any emails off him recently. But
Hmm.
I remember, the joy I used to have just seeing this little email off a fan saying, "Hi, how you doing? Hope you're well for this new tricky situation with COVID." And it's just kind of magical just have that. Like, I'm now a content creator and people want to talk to me. It's
Yeah, yeah.
magical.
Just had a thought. You said content creator. I've never thought of myself as a content creator, but I guess here I am talking to you whilst we record. So maybe I am a content creator. Um, I've just had a thought though, and it's kind of a meta thought. We definitely need to interview some of our fellow Assassin's Creed podcast hosts, like a meta show that we just all the podcast hosts talk to each other about their podcasts, just for fun. Anyway, that's a bit off topic. What was the question? The question was, what are we excited about for 2022? We should say that we've also, as well as like sort of being very much more community spotlight focused and just wanting to talk to more people. We have got loads of kind of regular topics planned, so we're probably going to do some book reviews. We will no doubt be doing some look backs on previous games. We've done a couple of character episodes in the last few weeks. We want to do more of that. So that, I mean, I suppose the only theme of the show is we talk about anything to do with Assassin's Creed. We probably need to explore the transmedia a lot more. I mean,
Yes.
I've read most of the books, but not the comics or other sources of media. So we probably need to look at that in the future as well. But there's what we should say for 2022. There's going to be same content as now, so varied content, varied topics, but we definitely want to have some threads that run through the whole year, which we think will be new and interesting, and we're looking forward to it.
And hoping to get more community people involved as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I always say at the end of the episode, you want to be on, you want to talk. I don't need credentials. You don't need to have played every game or read every book. If you just like, hi, picked Valhalla for the first time today, never played Assassin's Creed, love Valhalla, can I come on and talk about why I love Valhalla? Yeah, why not? Come on, let's find you a spot. That's as simple it is. Just come on. Even if you just read one book and you want to spend an hour talking about it, come on, we've got to talk about the book.
Definitely. Yeah, we're happy to talk about anything. And as you might, if you listen to us regularly, in recent weeks we've been educated a lot by our guests and had our minds opened about lots of new angles on characters and new angles on stories, and that's what we just really like. We like listening as much as we like talking. So what was question 3?
Question 3. Ooh, there's a lot to talk about. So this one I've been dying to talk about because it's going to crack us all up. From Wolfie, who was on for our very first Unity chat. She's an amazing person to talk to. I love to know how you come up with ideas. Do you just brainstorm? Do you see other people discussing things which inspire you to discuss similar topics? I would like to answer this one first to give you all a bit of a giggle. So, do we brainstorm? Yes, we brainstorm a lot of ideas at times. Do you see other people discussing topics which inspire you? Not always, because I'm worried about plagiarism, and I'm worried other content creators will be like, hey, I did that first, why are you doing it? So I tend to avoid. So how do I come up with my ideas? Eating, sleeping, having a bath. Sounds crazy, but I want, for the Pieces of Eden 3 episodes I first did when I first started, that started because I was cooking noodles, and I said to myself, how do Isu cook food? Did they have Isu ovens, or did they have Apple of Edens that made food for them?
Isu balls, mate.
Isu balls.
Isu balls.
Exactly, everything. So I just kind of thought, maybe the Isus
Do you know what?
had
I've just
microwaves.
realised that's our episode title for the special episode, Isu balls. We have to do it. It's in the recording now, and I'm not editing this out of the video, so it has to be Isu balls. Carry on with your answer, because I haven't interrupted you at all unprofessionally.
One day we're going to have to explain Isu balls, but I am not explaining that.
Not explaining
we're going to leave.
No,
we're
never.
going to leave the person who invented it to explain it.
Indeed.
One day. But yeah, it's just literally, I could be in the bath, cooking, eating. I once had a dream that I was being chased by Daleks from Doctor Who, and I just thought, let's do a podcast on the Isu-Toba catastrophe. Which I don't think I did yet, but I was meant to. So my ideas just come up with the most mundane tasks. Sitting on a bus, eating dinner.
I say it's
I don't
very
know how
similar
I
for
do
me.
it.
Very similar for me. Two things. Walking the dog. I have a little dog. He's not here. He's in the other room asleep. Otherwise, I'd show him to the world. Walking the dog, great for mulling things over. But I also found, I've only been on this show 8 weeks, 6 weeks. The time has flown by. But once you have one idea, it generates more ideas. So just as an example, when we were talking with Serverland a couple of weeks ago on our Arno Dorian episode, we sparked off on a little tangent about AC1 and about Malik. When we were talking with Marie-Claude last week about Elise, Declan revealed the bombshell that he's not read the Unity novelisation. So straight away, that was an idea. Well, at some point in the future, Declan, you will either buy or I will send you my copy of the Unity novelisation that's up here. You're going to read it and we'll do a book review or like almost like a part 2 of the Elise episode, because the book's about Elise. So once you start having ideas, I find they tend to sort of snowball and generate more ideas. Certainly, just to go back some months, I was a guest on this show was it just after Christmas?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
you've
we
been a guest a
were
couple of
we were
times.
doing an Odyssey. It was an Odyssey episode, and you tapped me up, and I thought, yeah, why not? Um, and after that, again, it started to spark ideas, and for months I would like message Declan at random times of the day. Oh, how about an episode about this? How about an episode about this? And I think that's what convinced you to sort of say, stop bothering me, get on the show, and actually help me make these ideas come true. So ideas pop up all over the place. And what we both tend to do is either just message each other and say like one word, what do you think about this? Yeah, sure, let's do it. And then we have a massive spreadsheet with about 50 different ideas. Some of them will probably never get made because they're not very good. Others we're absolutely, we'll turn them into some kind of show. I definitely really enjoyed the last few weeks of doing kind of a much more deep dive. I wouldn't say we do them often because it does take a fair bit of reading and thinking, but I would definitely like to do those kind of connected episodes where you've got maybe a big theme, but then you go into individual characters or individual parts of the story over multiple episodes. So there you're kind of saying one idea is generating several episodes of content or several hours of content. Yeah.
So it's a lot. On the note of you giving me tons of ideas, I remember sitting there once and I was like, I need a new co-host. I loved having co-hosts. I love having guests. And I've written out this form so people could sign it, and I got literally scared to post it because I was like, I'm scared of people's credentials. What if someone came on and they didn't actually want to do things the way the show works, or they were a bit more toxic towards certain games? Because I was just going to put it on Twitter and hope for the best. But when I had you kept badgering me with ideas and lots of things that my brain was just like exploding with so much joy, I was like, he has to come on the show. And I didn't actually plan on dragging anyone as a permanent co-host. My first plan was, let's partner up. You be the idea guy. And then it just snowballed into get on the show. Just come on.
Why not? Why not? Get over your stage fright and all the rest of it,
Yeah,
and
it's
have a
fun
go.
chat.
I'd say there is another answer we should give to that question, and probably should have given it as the first answer really. So we met through the Sisterhood Discord server, which is a fairly sizable community of Assassin's Creed fans who are all united in the reaction to the news from Ubisoft over the last year, and wanting to support those in the community who maybe don't have a voice, or whose voice gets drowned out by unpleasant people in the community and in the fandom. So we've been chatting for probably more than a year through that community, and there are fantastic people in that group, in that community. Many interesting discussions, some very off topic, some really proper lore discussions, and again, that's a great source of information. Amit, who's been on the show I think 3 times now, maybe 4 times as a guest, she's fantastic for sort of throwing in bits of knowledge, and even though it may not happen for weeks or months, you think that's brilliant, we're going to come back to that. And it can just spark again because you're talking with people who know an awful lot more than you do about the games and the backstories and the lore, and you're having sort of really interesting discussions with them. That sparks a lot of ideas for our episodes as well. So we should say a big thank you to that community because it's brilliant.
I think a big thank you as well will go to the entire AC community. A lot of my episodes at the very beginning was just people spamming ideas to me, and I just used them because I give them credit, as I will always do. If you have an idea, you will get all credit. But I just kind of thought, let's run with them. And even my 5-year-old kid's giving me an idea for a podcast, and he doesn't know it. He keeps going on about dinosaurs, and now I'm still like, what the heck happened with dinosaurs in Assassin's Creed? Screw it. We're doing a podcast on
Let's
it.
try it.
Let's
Project
try it.
Olympus. Why not? They must have had something to do with it.
Project Kainos. I
Yeah,
got some really
yeah,
interesting knowledge about it, and it's an episode we're going to be doing in the future because
yeah.
my kid went on about dinosaurs and say, "Hey, where did the dinosaurs in Assassin's Creed? Did Juno ride a Velociraptor? Because that'd be amazing."
If someone hasn't made that artwork, they need to.
Oh, imagine your face though, like you've just been freed from the oppression of the Isus. You're going to war, and they've got shiny Isu balls and swords. And next thing you know, Juno's just trotting
Said
out
these
with
balls
some.
again. Oh man.
Juno's just strutting her stuff on top of a T Rex. You're gonna be like, let's hold off the revolution. Let's not revolt. I can handle a shiny sword, maybe some floaty balls and some armor. But a T-Rex? This ain't no Jurassic Park. I'm reading.
With glowing lines on it, glowing geometric
Yes.
lines. Then it's perfectly law compliant. Yeah,
And I'll
yeah.
be running the other way. I will fight an Isu in a boxing ring. As soon as they bring in a Velociraptor, I'm out. I've seen Jurassic Park. I'm out.
Absolutely. You've got to run fast or drive fast to get away from a Velociraptor. All right, question 4. What we got?
um, Question 4 is another one that I've been excited to talk about. And sorry, I'm fidgeting a lot. I'm a very fidgety person. Should see me
Before we
behind the
go on to
camera.
question 4, my word, I mean, I spend a lot of my day on video calls. Sitting here, this is my work desk and my recording studio, I guess. I don't know, it's just a desk. Anyway, and I spend a lot of time on video calls, and I'm like you, I'm a fidgeter. I've always got a pen in my hand, or I'm script doodling on paper or whatever. I'm having to work so hard when we're recording to sit still, because you set the microphone up. My microphone's sort of 2 hand widths away from my mouth down here, just off screen. I've got the gain set right on my preamp, so everything's kind of right. But it's only right if you stay still. If I start wandering off either way, then the audio levels are going to drop and it's going to be a pain. So I'm trying so hard just to sit still to get the best audio for the shows and not fidget, because you end up with clicking pens, or you're tapping your fingers on the desk, or your chair bangs. So yes, fidgeting, it's a killer for when you're trying to do this sort of thing.
So the next question was from Mega Baymax. Although I'm not to comment here, but what inspired you guys to create this AC podcast?
Well, let me take that one first. I didn't create it. Declan, take it away.
Um, this kind of actually the reason why I chose this question next. Flows into what James is about the community. I watch a lot of YouTube and I watched a bit of Twitch and everything, and I was kind of bored of seeing YouTubers and Twitch just bringing other YouTubers on board for guests. You never see big YouTubers just bring a random community member that has no followings. That's just always it. I don't think I've ever seen a YouTube video where it's like, I'm building a Minecraft world with player X, X, and X. And usually the player is another YouTuber or another content creator. And after, failing at Twitch because I didn't have the right equipment from the PS4, I was like, if I did a podcast, I want, you know, everyone on board. I don't care if you are a big multi-million content creator or you're just somebody who doesn't join the community that much. I wanted to give the show a voice to everyone because I don't have a voice. I'm shy, I'm a bit antisocial. I don't have a voice, and I needed a voice because my girlfriend was probably sick to death of me blabbering on about Assassin's Creed all day, so I had to gnaw someone else's ear
I
off.
get a very similar reaction in this household as well. Yeah. I've just thought of a question I'm going to ask you in a minute, so I'm going to scribble it down while you keep talking, and we'll edit this out and it'll be amazingly seamless. All right, carry on. Carry on.
That's what I said. It'd be seamless when I edit this out. Never is. But
Oh, by
yeah,
the way,
so
I'm not editing any of this out. This is staying in.
so I kind of just, picked up my phone, plugged in the headphones, found the first Spotify play thingy to make a podcast, and I did see a few Assassin's Creed people doing podcasts, so I jumped on the ship at the same time, and I just kind of ran with the idea of people need a voice. Assassin's Creed has been going for 14 years. The community members that want to talk and share ideas aren't the people on YouTube with multi-million hits or the people on stream all day for 20,000. It's not just them. It's the people who run Tumblr accounts for their cosplay or run fan art accounts on Pinterest. They're the real people that I want to talk to because they're the people that need to be heard. They're the people who have probably sat at home scribbling down a fan theory for Edward and, I don't know, Haytham sword fighting for a laugh. They're the people you want to listen to. They're the people that I personally want to go hunting for. I love finding the YouTubers because I find their videos and I love their videos. But I also want to find the people on Tumblr who are just chilling there, like, this is my fan out of Ranvi. I like Ranvi for this reason. And I'm like, hey, come tell us because I like Ranvi too. So please come on board and tell me more about Ranvi. I think that should be enough to bore. I think that's enough information why I created the podcast. I could go on forever, but I won't.
It's a good answer, mate. Yeah, I mean, you've created a little niche, and you make a nice show. And we had some in the last few weeks. We've had some really nice feedback on Twitter that Six Keys, another guy, a mutual called Justin, gave us some really nice feedback that they liked the relaxed style, and we don't bother with all the negativity and spicy opinions. We just enjoy a chat, you know.
No, it's just a cup of tea and a chat. It's what I like, and
exactly.
it's like those British TV shows. And if Britain, you know what I mean, where they just sit around each day, but cup of tea and a natter. That's where I stole the idea from. It's a little British talk show. And if we get enough money, or paid by the BBC, maybe me and James could turn this into a real life TV show.
I don't think I'm not sure I've got a face for television. We might skip that idea. Keep it on YouTube. All right, so that was question 4. Have we got another one?
I'm wondering what you scribbled down.
Well, I'm going to save that for the end, because actually I might have already written down what you're about to ask. So let's see where we go.
Okay, so the final question we've got is from Lord Rayless, who is amazing, and I'm really excited for more
We're speaking
projects.
to him soon, aren't we?
Yes, about his collectibles.
Yes.
Every time I see his collectibles, I get so jealous. I'm like, how did you find all this? I love. I think he's going to listen to this and he's probably going to be scared off. But I remember when I first saw him pop
I
up
hope he's not.
on my Twitter, and I think I just started stalking his Twitter page for we started talking, because I was just so impressed by all the stuff. And then when he's like, "Oh, can I show you my AC collection?" and he tagged me in Twitter, I just edited it for 5 minutes. Like,
that's amazing.
That's epic. I want a cupboard or a shelf like that.
We should say he came on the show 3 or 4 months ago and you had a really good discussion, the two of you, about Valhalla's post-launch content. And he's got an interesting view because he's playing the entire franchise in the order of genetic memory, and the level of detail he's going to get, you know, the transmedia, the game, and play it chronologically is fantastic. So definitely check out his content and sort of things he's sharing. Anyway, we're way off topic. What was the question from Lord Rayless?
What is a goal that the two of you want to reach as Assassin's Creed fans?
Jeez.
Is this still your idea?
No, not at all. Not at all. So that's fine. So we've got another question in a minute. What is your goal?
Yeah.
Quiet life.
Rich? I'm all kidding.
I don't know. Declan, you created the show. What is your goal? Do you have a goal? It's okay not to have a goal.
I do have a goal, and I keep setting one every year to keep reaching it. But the goal is to become an Assassin's Creed podcast where everybody and anybody is welcome, and to be a podcast that people talk about, not because it's Assassin's Creed related or because they found my wild theory about Juno riding a Velociraptor, but because they found a content creator they've never heard of and they fell in love with their artwork, or they found a cosplayer and that cosplayer has now inspired them to be a cosplayer. You know, that's what I want my show to be, and that's my long term as a fan. It's why I'm running the show, is to make my show an inspiration to people who don't have a voice or who are doing content creation and want to show it off. Because I started with a phone and a game and just a cheap £15 gaming headset. That's all it was. And I've come to 33,000 listeners in 3 years. And I want to be that inspiration that if you're just doing small sketches of artwork for Edward, Juno, Evie, anyone, and you want to put them on Instagram, go for it. You know, you will follow a huge community will build around you, and that's my goal. Just make people feel so comfortable in themselves that they could just do whatever they want. And hopefully if Assassin's Creed ends and people think about this podcast, they think about inspiration, community members, and the little things that you don't bother to think about.
That's a very wholesome answer. It really is. I like that. Do I need to give an answer now?
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. My main goal, at least so far, is not to screw it up. Very much following Declan's lead, learning to get comfortable doing what we're doing, and just to have good conversations. You know, Declan is very much the creative force and the driving force. I think I'm providing some good support, but yeah, my goals are. I mean, certainly support your goals. I think it's great, and that's why we've talked about in the last few weeks about being much more community focused and raising the voices of the community, and helping just sort of share their work and their passion, and using that as a way of discussing this huge franchise. I think personal goals is generally just be a little bit more professional. We'll see that.
We are professional, and
Oh, look at
I'm
it.
gonna be on.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be honest. From the chats we've had since you've joined on board, I really don't think there could be a show without you half the time. Like the
Oh,
work that you help so much for YouTube is phenomenal because I'm a full-time stay-at-home dad. That's my main goal in life. I got two kids. I'm at home every day with my partner. I don't have time to edit YouTube videos, you know.
mm, mm.
I'm recording every night 9 o'clock because I wait till my kids go to sleep because my eldest doesn't like sleep. I swear he's going to be a teenager up to like 10 o'clock, falls asleep early and complains we're getting him up at 7 o'clock for school. Why am I getting up? When you were
These
5,
these days will
you
come.
should have
Yes.
slept. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, when you were 5, you should have gone to sleep when we put you to bed at 7:30, not wait till 10 o'clock. So, having that little home life, I needed a bit of help, and you've been so engaging just to help with the YouTube. It's took so much weight off my shoulders. I feel like me and you could start becoming more of a creative force because we've got a divided workload. I can help
Yeah.
with the audio, you
Yeah.
help with the video, and we can conquer the franchise and
Oh
make
my
some
word.
random episodes about nothing.
Sounds
Literally,
good. Sounds good.
someone's
We
gonna
have we
work.
have talked about that as an idea for next year. It's just every now and then, I don't know, every 6 weeks, every couple of months, just do an unscripted episode where we have nothing to talk about, and we just hit record and chat and see where we go. And I think that would be quite
Oh,
good fun.
it would, but my concern is my brain for Assassin's Creed has it started off for the first 4 years as logical. This is history. This is
Mm,
how it's meant to be. To watching The Matrix and realizing Assassin's Creed's a simulation, then my brain just dissolved into goo because it's like, so if it's a simulation, can someone hack it and make unicorns canon because it's just a simulation?
absolutely. Hold that thought. That's a future. That is how we create podcast episodes. Ideas is by basically chatting and throwing in random, random thoughts into the chat. That's a great one. We can talk different. Anyway, we're going way off topic. What was the question? What did Lord Rayless ask us? Goals for the show. We've answered that. Okay. What
That's
next?
all the questions.
All right.
All
I'm
answered.
gonna ask you my question now, and you may wish to
Let's.
fire it back at me as well because it's a question we could both answer. But I'm going
I,
to ask you this question. All right.
I don't think I wrote one down for you. I'm
That's all right.
scared.
It's all right. So you're a member of the Mentors Guild.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's pretend that to celebrate the second anniversary of the podcast, one of the lead community managers at Ubisoft messages you. All right, Declan, we're loving your work. We're going to help you sort of celebrate. We can get on to the show as a guest, whoever you want. Voice actor, director, writer. Who would you have as your dream guests or guest
Oh, can I pick
for?
more than one?
Definitely. We don't set
Oh,
rules here. We just set guidelines. So who would you have on? Who would you have on your sort of dream episode for a chat?
Arnold's voice actor. 100%. Like, that is what kicked off the franchise. I need him on board. I want to talk to him.
Yeah.
And even if he doesn't remember playing Assassin's Creed, just come on board. The one I've been trying to catch for months now, Darby McDevitt. I feel like we're on the
Oh
same
yeah, yeah,
wavelength.
yeah. Okay.
Um, I really want to talk to Magnus Braun
Hmm.
and his portrayal of Harvey. Not as Ava, but I'm really curious, like, how did it feel becoming like Odin and then recording stuff as male Avo,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I know canonically it's female Avo, and I would love
Hmm.
to get Cecil on board to discuss her role as Avo. But I'm really curious to see like his perspective going from I'm Odin to I'm now Avo. Odin, Avo. So, oh, and I love him in Constantine. Matt Ryan.
Ah.
who plays Edward.
Edward.
Matt Ryan, come on board, because
Do you know, if we were to get Matt Ryan, which I'm not telling, if you're watching this is unlikely to happen, but if we were to get him, I think that would be a very popular show, very popular episode. Yes.
I like Matt Ryan.
Actually, to be fair, if we had Dan Jeanot on the show, that would also be a very popular episode. Yeah.
But I think they're the biggest ones that I'd love to get on board.
Yeah.
What about you? I could probably guess one, but I'm not very good in the names.
Let me build up to that, because
Yeah.
you know who it is already. I'd love to chat with Danny Wallace, Sean Hastings, just because he's been part of the franchise since AC2. Was when he wasn't in AC1, was he? It was just Lucy, sort of the assistant. So Danny Wallace, because Sean Hastings, he's another of my spirit animals. Him and Steve Bonnet. Basically, Sean Hastings, he dresses like me. He kind of is me. Anyway, so I'd love to meet him. That would be a good chat. I do love Odyssey, so you might think I would say Michael and Melisanthe, but this is going to sound like a bit of a big-headed moment. I don't mean it to be. I've already met them and sort of chatted to them, and they were lovely.
Jealous.
I'd certainly wouldn't say no to meeting them again, because it'd be great. I was going to say Dan Jeanot, Arno's voice actor, because I love Arno. But it would also have to be Catherine Berube, Elise's voice actor as well. That would be a very awkward episode, but we'd have to do it.
I will admit now, if one of the voice actors was able to get on the show, I would go from the simple of "Welcome to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed" to the blah, 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 I'm so nervous I've forgotten. And then just to get on my knees in front of the camera going, I'm not worthy. Not worthy.
Actually, no. Even better, we get them to record the show intro, because they're epic voice actors. They'll make it classy.
To be honest, I messaged Dan Wallace on Twitter when he was talking about him doing Discovery Tour. I was like, maybe we could get you on the show. He hasn't liked it yet or replied back.
Okay, yeah.
But
he's got many followers, many messages, I'm sure.
But if he could go do the Welcome to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed, I would be like, oh, okay, I'm never recording mine again. Let's just copy and paste his. Let's just go for it. It's sorted.
Very good, mate. Very good.
We need them on board. I'm going to have to find out how I can get these people on board. I have contacts.
I'm sure they get a lot of offers, don't they? So these can be pipe dreams. Year four. That's what that'll be. Year 4 plans.
I'm not going to say anything, but I have some contacts.
All right.
I'll reach them out, reach some feelers, and see who can get on board. Come to me.
Okay, so that's everything?
That is behind the scenes, a mini Q&A, and an introduction to the magic behind the voices.
Absolutely magic. Yep.
Now, I do have one question that I want the community to answer, because it's been playing on my mind for weeks now, and I've talked to my girlfriend about it. How does my voice sound unedited? Because I've had people saying I've got a nice soothing voice when it's edited, so I'm curious, is it the same when it's not edited? Because my girlfriend says it isn't. So I am curious.
That's home voice, not professional podcasting voice. It's a very different voice.
Exactly. So what's my voice like as my home voice? My podcast voice is unedited. Is it still soothing?
Oh, man. I think you got a nice voice.
I don't like my voice, but I love reading the reactions of people like, you've got a nice soothing voice. I think a friend of mine from a very old server was like, out of all the people that I could read me a bedtime story, it would be David Attenborough, Morgan Freeman, and you.
Wow. That's
and I was like,
good company to be in.
I was like, at first I was like, you're pulling my leg. Like, I've heard Morgan Freeman's voice, and David Attenborough's, they're phenomenal, but I really don't think we're all sat around reading bedtime stories. I'm going to be as powerful as them two.
Hey, if it's a job, you know.
If I'm just getting to be in a room with them two, I'm always happy. But I think that's everything for our 100 episode special.
Which is actually our 100 Second?
Second.
Third? 103rd. Ah, well, who's counting? Who's counting? We'll call it a 100 episode special, Isu Balls.
I think this is just perfect. Why? From day one, I never added numbers. I just had snappy
Yeah,
titles. It
until I
saved
came
tons of
along,
hard.
did all the YouTube stuff and started numbering all the episodes. Basically, I've ruined it. Anyway, there we are. So how do we close out the show with some, because we're doing this visually? Do we need like a visual, like we need a clapperboard, don't we, or something? You know?
And
Yeah, exactly. All right, perfect.
perfect.
We should do our usual thing with like the Twitter handles and, you know, email me for show ideas.
Yes.
Declan, right? So Declan is super professional. When we're recording his intro to the show, welcome to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed, your number one podcast for all things Assassin's Creed, and then his outro to the show is so slick. It's kind of funny because when we start recording, we have our little warm-up chat with our guests, and then as he described earlier, he hits record and we get the background noise so we can do the sort of the noise cancelling. And he does switch. He may say he doesn't, but he does have his casual chat voice and then his super professional podcast voice. And he lowers his voice and it all gets very low. And welcome to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed. So how about you give us your epic outro voice?
Oh, God. I'm going red.
I've ruined it.
Okay.
Come on, right. Center yourself,
So,
mate. Yep, deep breath.
Thank you everyone for listening to this special. And if you do want to be involved, then please, you can email us at assassinscreedletstalk@gmail.com, or you can message us on Twitter at ACLetsTalk and James at JamesTilliquid. We're always up to any tags, DMs, or anything, so please feel free to reach out anytime. And hopefully we'll have more specials on the way, but 2 years and 100 episodes is a huge milestone, and I think every listener who's stayed along the way, 33,000 times my episode's been played in a year, well, the podcast, in 2 years, and as a guy who has no huge following to start with, that is impressive and evidence that if you are a content creator listening and you have a passion, just run with it. Have some fun, share it to the world, and people will love it. And as a quote that was actually on my wall on my phone when I first started, you shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you still land among the stars. So
Nice.
always remember that.
Perfect. Let's close the show there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
We'll see you all soon, people. Thank you.